Welcome to Black is Magazine, a magazine fit for all where we are reaching the masses and embracing inclusion and diversity. Entertainment, small businesses, minority and women, mom and pop shops, and more. We offer a safe platform for individuals to interview and share their journeys. We also offer advertising slots at the very lowest prices to get your business recognized across the U.S. and abroad. Visit us www.blackismagazine.com. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Black is Magazine, where we are reaching the masses. I appreciate everyone being here. But if you're new, please subscribe, like, and share. Leave your comments below because your opinion really does matter. You guys, I'm so excited to be here tonight. We have Ambition the Poet here with us. We're honored to have you here. We're excited to hear your
Oh, thank
story.
you.
I am so glad that we connected, and it's going to be an amazing journey. To add to what we have, Ambition is also coming on board with Black is Magazine to be a poet writer, something Black is has never done before. We're excited to have it, and we're sure that it will reach somebody. And if we always say if we can reach one person, then we've done our job. So welcome, Ambition the Poet.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be part of the Black is magazine team. Um, it got a lot of good feedback when I posted it, so I'm excited to be here. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for having me on.
Well, you're very welcome. So I want you to go ahead and tell the world who you are and what you do.
Wow, my name is Ambition the Poet. I'm the first foster care poet in the history of the United States. And what that means is that I go around. I'm like a journalist for foster kids like me, former and currently. They're in your hood, they're in your suburbs, and they're in the countryside of your state. And so I have to go around and tell their stories and stories like mine because some of them doesn't, they don't want to talk. Um, their stories are they want to keep private. Some of their stories brings up their trauma, and so they don't really like to speak about it. So for me, I have to go out there and speak and be the spokesman for a lot of those that are forgotten voices, and some that's just quite frankly a little afraid to tell the truth about some of their family secrets.
That's amazing. So if you see me look away, I'm just taking notes so I don't forget to
Absolutely.
ask a question. But what I'm so excited about and what I'm so humbled about is that you stand for foster children. And that is so important because I hear a lot of individuals that have been in a foster home growing up, and they said how very lonely it was, as though someone just threw them away and just left them to fend for themselves in different
Mhm.
areas. They get comfortable in one place and pulled out of that place and have to be in another place. Let's talk about your experience in foster home, if you would like, how you ended up in foster home and your experience.
Yeah, so basically, my mom got caught up in the '80s when crack started to hit a lot of our inner cities, and so from there, in my early childhood, I was put into foster care with multiple homes. And the last foster home I remember was in the city of Philadelphia, a small portion of North Philadelphia called Nicetown. And I was adopted. I was finally adopted by an amazing woman, actually from another part of Philadelphia, who then moved over into South Jersey.
Mhm.
Um, so that's a quick way that to say what all happened. But usually in the foster care system, you do feel alone because even though I really had a great story from going from poverty straight to middle class, I didn't really get to meet my mom until the age of 26 with total memory.
Wow.
You some of us do not meet my brothers. I didn't meet my brothers until I only met one sister as far as memory is concerned.
Mhm.
Um, and I didn't see him again to 26 either, right? So even though I'm in a loving family, I have loving people, but I am in the serious identity crisis. And so
Mm.
when someone from the foster care system say that they are lonely, they're not talking about just with bodies, right? They're talking about a sense of identity. Simple stuff like my mom looks black, but she looks more Indian.
Mhm.
So where's the people that look like me?
Right.
And that's one of the struggles of really being lonely, being loved, but you can still be lonely with not knowing what your identity is. Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of like, I mean, even when children are brought up with their grandparents and have a loving home, the grandfather, the grandmother there, but it's something missing. And what I've learned from people that I've talked to is that it was not that anything their grandparents did wrong. It was just like, I wanted my mother, I wanted my father. And I wanted to know, why did they leave me? What did I do? And then they began to blame themselves. Did you ever experience blaming yourself for your situation? Because I know that you said you were in the foster home, but then you got adopted to a loving, young lady. And so did you ever blame yourself for being there?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you're fishing for answers. Oh, is it my fault? Then, I'll go through a violent part of my teenage years. Like, it's the drug dealer's fault. I want to hurt a drug dealer. It must be their fault. Why would they sell to my mom knowing that she is this? Why would they sell that drug in our community? If the government, but why would you? You're Black like me. And so I started to really get, deep into the reasoning of who did what and who's responsible. Who was responsible to introduce this drug to my mom in the first place? Was it because of me? Because I was like the baby? Like, I'm confused. Mm-hmm. How come nobody's calling me? Wow. You're in foster care and you're literally like, yo, is anybody looking for me? Like, oh, so it's like you in there and you like, yo, is somebody searching for me? Because you're kind of like an organized runaway. Like, you're away with a family, but where is your family? You have no idea.
Wow, women helping other women learn, grow, and empower. Learn new things, grow from what you learn. Empower others to do the same. Helping you to create a plan for your life, vision for a better life. Get connected to resources, seminars, trainings. Women helping others with the gifts that they have.
Yeah. You literally have no idea. They don't tell you like, oh, your mom is in the next city. Your mom could be anywhere. You don't know. Yeah. So it's very, very when it comes to blaming, it's hard to get over that. And some people, they go all the way into their adulthood. I mean, still fighting that. And that's unfortunate, because it's like it hinders them. And it seeps into everything, right? Right. Not just the childhood. Then they can't date. It's hard for them to date. It's hard for us to build relationships, so it takes a toll on you throughout your entire life.
Yeah. And I think a part of that is trust factor. My mom had me and now she's gone. I'm over here with whoever. Is anybody looking for me? Oh, I'm not going to get close to nobody because I don't trust them. They may leave me. And that's hard. And so how do you overcome that? And how do you talk to individuals that were in foster home or that are in foster home and are struggling with those type issues, those real issues? How do you talk to them about, overcoming this trust issue and that it's okay to trust again? It's okay to love and all those things.
My mom was really good at this. I mean, I wouldn't say it's brainwashing, but it was like a reformation to my mind. It was like a changing of it, a transformation of it. I love you. I'm like, you love me. Yeah. You don't know me. And you come from Philly. If you come from an inner city and you really from the bottom, somebody telling you that they love you is garbage. That doesn't mean anything, because how? If my mom gave me up, why would I believe you? That's exactly how it was. Why? I believe you. And then you're talking about some guy named Jesus and he loves me too. I don't know him. He don't know me. Okay. That's deep. So my mom had to feed me over and over again. Son, there are people that can love you and don't know you. I love you. Do you love yourself? Keep questioning who I was. I'm like, I don't myself. I guess you loving me. I don't think so. I don't know you. Brian, I love you. And it was constant. It was a constant battle of my mind, learning to trust people who I don't know. And you'd be surprised in your life. You'd be surprised that sometimes you have to put your trust in the stranger before your family. It's the greatest thing, right? And anybody that went through this life will tell you, like, oh, I ain't gonna lie. I had a couple strangers that looked out and my family didn't. So it was, I'm glad she taught me that, because I had to understand trusting is like understand verification, understanding discernment, understanding like relationship building. That relationship is better than kinship, because relationship is what makes us family, right? Your DNA, your blood makes you family in a sense of connection and physically, with the blood. But relationship, that's who a relationship is literally back and forth, loving each other, saying, I care about you, you care about me. I'm not going to let anything happen to you, not intentionally. And I'm not going to do anything to myself that's going to harm myself and you. Can't do that. Right. That means that I'm thinking about myself over you, and that's not what family do. And so learning trust from my mom was very hard. But she taught me, my foster mom taught me that trust, love can be learned, that it can, and it does exist. And be careful about what you put in your mind and what you read every day. Because if you look at the paper and TV every day, it's telling you straight up, don't trust anybody. But that's people who don't trust anybody. You can't get anywhere. You need a team. You need people.
Contact Crystal Ifakoya, the founder and creator of WOW. Why not?
You have to trust people. There's no way you can get to the next level without a team. So
yeah, we need each other. I believe that. Some people would say that some foster kids, they get into the system and they have different ways of lashing out or different ways of dealing with their circumstances. What did you do to deal with yours? Because some are violent, some try to hurt themselves and others, or some just shut down, won't talk. And so there's so many different emotions, right? How did you cope with the fact that, first of all, you were thinking nobody was ever looking for you? Why me? And then Jesus, don't talk to me about Jesus, because he was supposed to love us. He created us. And I'm not supposed to be in this situation. How did you combat that? What were your actions?
Yeah, my mom, she still was helping me, like, because I was like that. I mean, if we got into an argument, I would say it like, why do I worry about y'all? Y'all don't care about, it doesn't matter. I lost my own family. So it don't matter, what you say or what you say. I lost it all. And I was weaponizing what happened to me against other people.
Yes.
And my mom was like, you can't do that. You can't become a weapon of what happened to you. That's not what's supposed to happen here. And we went back and forth, and me and my mom would go back and forth. One of the things she taught me is, like, if you fight in my house, you got to get out of here. And because of where I came from in a life, I was aware of where I was living at compared to where I came from. I wasn't going back. So, okay, I can't fight. Cool. So what can I do? She said, well, you have to use your mind and your mouth. You can verbally disagree and argue in this house, but we can't put our hands physically. Okay, good. And so that's kind of where I got good at really arguing, debating, and it got me in trouble in high school though. Rapping.
Yeah.
And because that was all I could do. I'm like, my mom taught me to channel it. But there's sometimes in a person's life where they have to decide what they want to be. Yes. And I would never say therapy doesn't work, but I was in that therapy the whole time in foster child. I was like, they had me going to therapy every other day, and it was a mess. And with all respect to that man and the people that tried to help me at that age, I had to come to an agreement that this is where we're going to be. I have to be a productive member of society. The anger that I'm feeling and the hatred that I had for my mom at the time is no longer worth it. It's not getting me anywhere. And I just think somebody has to come to themselves about what they want to be. Because what happened to me is more important than what I become.
Wow.
And that was the hardest. That's the problem with most of us. Like, literally, what happened to me is more important than what I become. Because the energy of holding on to it is great. I'm telling you, it feels good. Listen, telling people that I hate my mom and I hate what happened to me and you can't mess with me. I came from the bottom, and it felt good to boast that because that was where my energy and pride was coming from.
And then maybe that was a mechanism of protecting your heart and
Correct.
protecting yourself. So if I act like this, then I don't have to worry about it because I hate my mama. I don't care what you're saying. I came from the bottom. This is where you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. So if you leave me, I'm good.
Right.
Right. What does that mean to me? And so, yeah, you know, and I had to come to agreement literally in my 20s when I finally met my mom and when I saw what she looked like and God was in my ear, it felt like God was literally talking to me like, it's over now, isn't it? And I'm like, yeah.
So let me ask you that. Hold that thought. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just hold that thought because you talk about God, right? And our circumstances sometimes can cause us to maybe get a little angry with God. And some people to where they're like, they don't want to hear it. At what point did you, let me back up. Did you ever have a sense that God don't want to talk about God because God got me where I'm at? Or did you always carry God with you and really kind of trust him, but was kind of leery of him, but you've always had him with you and trusted what he showed you?
Yeah, like I'm not going for so when I didn't believe in love, when I first came to, you know, I was going to church in foster care. It was funny. But when I got to my mom, that's when like I was getting older and understanding what the principles and everything it was talking about.
Yeah.
But I always had a good feeling for God for me. It was like, nah, I could trust God. The Jesus thing, I think I didn't feel it more because it was a humanizing thing for me. So when they talked about God, it was more like like something that is so big I can't comprehend. But when they started talking Jesus at that age, I'm like, some guy? Nah, I'm not. I mean, if you talk about some regular human, I ain't feeling that. But if you talk about God, that's something that I can't see. I gotta bow down to that.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And that's still a struggle for me at sometimes too, because it's like a lot of people will fear a God to us is like, oh, but a human is like, because we have our own fleshly traumas, right? So it's like, I don't know about that part. But look, if you talk about God, I got it, you know. But I never blamed God. I was angry though. I was angry with myself and the way humans treat each other. I'm like, well, if this is how it's going to be, I pray to you, but I don't trust these people down here. Like it hasn't gotten me anywhere.
Right. So moving forward, how did you connect with poetry? Because that was to me, you haven't told me this, but to me, that was a way of speaking out, being able to speak out about that, because that's what you stand for. How did you connect with poetry? I know your mom taught you to channel it some kind of way, and poetry, you know, being a poet, that's a positive way to channel it. Was it the situation that connected you to poet? How did you to be a poet? How did you come to where you are today?
Yeah, so because I couldn't fight, I couldn't do anything, nothing physical. Can't fight at school, can't fight at home. So there were people talking about me so bad at the time in the particular neighborhood I was in the burbs. I started to write these stories of me. Since I couldn't touch them, I'm writing stories about what I would do to them, you know, hurt them, fight them. And very disturbing to the point where the therapist is like, yo, he's writing these stories. This is not good. And it turned into rapping as I got older. But I always was a writer. Like, you know, at the time I felt like, as I look back, there was so much going on the outside. It was literally birthing me writing these negative stories or birthing rhymes and raps that were not good. They were not healthy. But it was the only way I could release it, because if not, it was destroying me in my mind. So I'm like, oh, I gotta write this down. And so as I got through middle school and high school, the bullying, what's interesting about rapping, it helped me become a little bit popular. Because before then I was getting bullied. Then when I discovered I had a talent, the girls started to like me. And before then I had a real, you know, always wanted girls to like me, always wanted people to like me. So the rapping started to help people to like me.
Right.
And as I got through junior high school, I started to really weaponize the rapping. So I was using it to talk about people that I couldn't fight, or talk about people that I didn't like, to, make myself look a certain way and get popular off of that. And so I was using my gifting in the wrong way, using my gifting to attack. And that wasn't the best way. But I knew, had I not did that, then, it would have came out other ways, right? Physically getting in touch with the wrong crowd, hanging with the wrong people. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Poetry didn't come until later on in my life.
Okay. So basically it was rapping. And so you was just really basically telling a story. And I think that your mom gave you amazing advice, because some people hold on to things and they never get it out. They don't talk to people about it. They're scared to talk about it. So they keep it inside. And finally, when it's too much, they burst and it's all negative. You know what I'm saying? It ends up either hurting somebody, going to jail, they rob, they steal. I mean, it could be all negative things. So I think that writing was amazing for you. So now you've met your mom. When you met your mom for the first time, what was that like? Like, where were you mentally when you met her? Because you were in your 20s, so you were a young man at this time now.
Yeah. I mean, I went there with the anger. I'm ready to go. Like, I got so much to say. I'm like, oh, it's going down. It's about to be a movie. I'm telling my girl,
how did you get the connection to be able to meet her?
Facebook. Yeah, Facebook. Okay. I ended up finding my sister, who found my other brothers. So I ended up just searching one day for my sister. I find her. She's like, yo, I'm like, is the other brothers and family on here? Yes.
Wow.
All right, well, give me their names. Got the names. I'm the last one that they found. I was out there. No one, they were already talking. I was the only one that was out there.
Now, all of these siblings are from your mom?
Correct.
And was everybody in foster care?
Not everyone. I think one didn't go to foster care. Everybody else did.
Okay.
Right. So, because of her age, right? So, when you, they connected each other, Brian is back. We haven't been all together to meet him. He needs to see all of us. They create a reunion, like a little small reunion. Oh. And I meet her the day before the little reunion. And I was ready to go. I got my questions. I'm ready to go. Why this happened to me? How dare you leave me to die? You got to answer for stuff like this. Where is my answers? I get there, and wow, man, it was like, I'm looking at someone who can't put a sentence together. I'm looking at someone who doesn't have their mind together at the time. Right. What am I going to say? I can't. What am I going to say? So I got everything to say, and then I meet her. I can't now, because it makes me look crazy for trying to say everything that I wanted to say, and I can't say anything. Got in the car after I met her and cried. Like, yeah. And that was when it was over for me, as far as the hatred. As far as what how I felt, because it was just like, it's over. It's nothing else I can do. You know what, God, it's over for me, man. Like I'm this ain't even what I wanted. I kind of just really wanted the showdown. I'm thinking it was going, I played out like a movie. Like, we had this big argument and I storm off. I win it. Couldn't even
win it. And yeah, I think it's a God thing. I think he set you up. He knew who you were and who you were going to be. This is my opinion. This is just my theory. And you wanted to go and you wanted to be angry because you want answers. I want to know why. And when you get there, God was like, that's not what's supposed to happen here. And it didn't. And so he said, this is it for you. Like the hate, you got to get rid of the hate, right? So you move on. So are you guys still in touch? And do you talk to your mom?
I talked to a couple siblings. It's not the tightest, no, because we're all grown men and women, and we're trying to get it together. We still have our issues, like most families do, all families do. Right. But there is no hate between the siblings.
Right.
You know, I got genuine love for them. They know that. And I think they got genuine love for me. But I think because we're so much older, we're strangers trying to learn each other, like literally
Yeah.
as grown men and women. So that's difficult, especially for me being the youngest and not being a part of them at all for years. And as far as my mom, she's still in the facility today. Our relationship is not there. No, we're not going to fraud on any network. No, I forgave her and blessings to her and wish the best for her. But you know, because I was raised with people, I have a whole family that I have a mom. They have their own issues. And so I told God, with all respect, God, I can't take on two families. I can't. My family that I grew up with we a mess. And I got to deal with them. Right. But yeah, absolutely. I got love for my biological family. They know that. But I got a lot to handle with my current family as it is, you know. And I'm so grateful that God gave me that family. But yeah, we got to fight on that front as well. So yeah.
That's good. That's good. So now where did the poetry come in? And
so
answer that first. We'll answer that.
I stopped rapping because my mom is like, we're not being a rapper. Like, that's not happening. Go get a job. So I go to corporate America and I get a job and I try to become someone that I'm not. To be honest with you, I get in corporate America. I'm getting money now. You know, oh no, don't call me Brian Harper. Call me Brian Pinkney. I don't know what y'all talking about. I'm getting money. I'm not from Philly. I'm from Sicklerville, New Jersey. Excuse you. I'm getting money. What y'all talking about? I'm in corporate America trying to act like I'm not the kid from North Philly. Like I'm not a kid that has a mom that was on drugs. I tried to forget all of it.
Yeah.
And it would be stories. It would be, I would look at certain movies and it would call on me like, you know what, you should be rapping. And even my car to work, I would do little raps with the beat on and like, oh yeah. But come to work all, you know.
Yeah.
And one day I get this new job. I meet a lady. It's crazy because I was actually trying to talk to that girl. But we go to the venue because I'm trying to talk to her. I don't care about where she's taking me. And that's how God worked. I followed a girl. We get there. It's a poetry event. And they start doing poetry. And I'm stuck like this. What's going on? I've never in my life been exposed to these poets. And something said, you're going to do that. I ignore it. I go home and I couldn't go to sleep. Wow. It was like a waking beast. You're going to get back to writing. I'm like, no, I'm getting money. I can't leave the mortgage job. I'm not into that. And it just kept calling me. And I could not go to sleep until I wrote a poem, and the rest is history.
Right.
My life.
So you go from place to place doing poetry, people calling you and say, hey, and in what type of settings are they that you go? Is it children?
When this first came out, no one was calling me. Let's not do that.
Okay.
I was just going to open mics, hoping that somebody cared. Yeah, no one cared. No one cared because I'm in Philadelphia. I'm talking about foster care, and if you know anything about poetry, it's Black love, Black power, and you know, stress, trauma,
right,
and erotica. Who's this guy with cartoon shirts on? He's from Philly. He's talking about foster care. What? Yo, get out of here.
Right.
And he's from Jersey? I don't think so. So I just kept doing it. 2 years straight of open mics when no one really cared. Maybe a few poets. Nobody cared. I kept going. In year 3, it started to take off. I started meeting other people, not from the poetry community, but from nonprofits. People saw that you don't belong in open mic venues. You have a ministry. And at the time,
yes,
I'm just trying to do my poetry thing.
Right.
And so at the time, I was still running away from the foster care thing again. Right. I'm talking about it, but I'm not embracing, as you see me now, as the first foster care poet. I'm still like, no, I'm just a poet. I talk about foster care, but and something's like, oh, so you still want to play with me? You
Right.
still want to act like what you're called to do. This is what you're called to do. There's nothing you can do to run away from it. And so, yeah, the rest is history. When I finally understood that I'm called to speak to foster kids like me, and there's nothing else I can do. I can't run away from it, So yeah.
When you speak to foster children like you were in the position that you were in, do you get a good response for them? Like are they like go away? I don't want to hear
I
it.
mean, yeah, some,
What kind of
some.
experiences do you get when you go
Yeah,
out?
you get a little bit of both.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of both. Yeah, it's still the streets. It's still some people, they don't care what you got to say. Even if you were saying something good. You can literally be like, yo, I got something that's going to save your life right now. They'd be like, I ain't trying to hear that. Where I come from, nobody cares about me. So I'm seeing the same thing that I was. I'm like, I understand. I hope that one day you change, and so you just got to talk to those that want to listen and take the gems and hope that the others see. But you can't help everybody. That's one thing I learned. You're not for everybody.
You
So
can't.
maybe my voice won't reach that young man. Maybe it's a rapper. Maybe it's an old head that he respects. I don't know. But when I go in these places, like you said, I'm going after my audience. So like you were saying earlier, if I go after one, then I did my job. That's exactly how I look at it.
That's right.
I come in here, who is of my audience? Somebody in here is. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't. So I know I'm supposed to reach one of you or two of you who is trying to listen, who needs this. And
also,
I can see in the eyes and in the demeanor that they're looking for hope. And I'm like, I'm glad I'm here.
Yeah. So do you, and then once you're there, do you share your experience with them? I mean, allowing them to know this is where I come from.
Yeah, I tell them straight up, like this is what I am, and I'm here to just tell you, you're gonna have to get to this way. You're gonna come to a crossroad, and I'm real big on telling them about crossroads. Like what you gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all can do the same thing your parents did, or you can do it differently. Either way, it's okay. America is going to deal with you one way or another. So choose wisely. You trying to be history, or you trying to be a statistic?
Yeah.
Y'all trying to be statistics, then I can't. I'm not really with that. I'm trying to find people who want to build legacies and become something. We already been proven to ourselves that we're some of the hardest, some of the roughest. We come from the bottom. What else we got to prove here?
Right.
We already did show. Our life has already shown that we are survivors. Why do we feel like we have to keep proving to our city and our block that we can survive all the way to the end? No. Wow. I don't got to prove nothing. I got scars in my mind right now, right? I don't got to prove to anyone that I came from the city of Philadelphia. My adoption papers speak that. And I think at the time, I was still trying to prove it to people.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I'm really from the hood. And nobody believed me because, I'm in Jersey. Right. And my mom is like, you're trying to prostitute your past to prove to people that you come from hoods like them? And it was weird. I'm like, yeah, because you don't understand. I'm trying to show them something real fast. Yeah. Mom, give me the adoption papers. I got to take it to school because they're saying that I'm not who I am. And she's like, no, that's not making sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have an opportunity. You were blessed. Yeah. They're trying to make you feel bad about your blessing. And it was so funny because I was at an event last night and I told the same crowd, the same thing I'm telling you. They were bullying me because of my blessings. And I didn't realize it because I was so enamored with trying to prove to them that I came from the bottom. And instead of saying, God, thank you for where I'm at, I'm like, why am I here? I should be back there so I won't get bullied. That's not how it works. When I was in the neighborhoods anyway, I was bullied again. I was the bottom of that neighborhood. When you're a foster child in the inner city, you're the bottom. You're a step above being homeless. So either way, the bullying was happening. It was something that I had to go through. TD Jakes talks about the crushing. It was something that I had to go through to become who I am today.
Right. We always talk about our storms and why do I got to do this? Why do I have to? Why me? Why me? But it just got to know that it's a purpose and a reason for everything that we go through, and where we are is where we're supposed to be. And God got this. He has it. And everything that we go through, if we just look over our lives to see where we made it from, I think that tells the whole story. So I appreciate your story. I appreciate you being here. Like I could go on and on listening to
Oh,
your
we'd
story.
be here all day, right?
But we're gonna save some for the magazine, and just I just want you to, in the event that there was someone watching that has gone through what you've gone through, that knows someone, what do you want to leave with them tonight?
Well, I got to go through the history books. That's why I call myself a foster care historian. I mean, your iPhone, creator of that company was Steve Jobs. If you're white, I'm so sorry, but John Lennon, one of your greats. You're black, Nelson Mandela. You like football, Colin Kaepernick, foster kids, Malcolm X, Anita Baker. You need a singer? Do you need a gymnast? Oh, I could, because you want to, I guess you good at flipping. So, you don't have an example. So Simone Biles. Oh, I don't know who that is. Old head. Give me a cartoon. Then it's X-Men. Half the X-Men were in a group home because their parents threw them away because they were mutants. They had gifts. And if you watch the cartoon, the parents was like, get away from us. Go somewhere. They were in the street and Professor Xavier said, come in this house. That was a group home, right?
Oh,
You
yeah.
watching Star Wars, then Baby Yoda, that is a foster kid right before. And I never realized that all these different things in my life as I was growing up were foster children right before my eyes.
We offer a safe platform for individuals to interview and share their journeys. We also offer advertising slots at the very lowest prices to get your business recognized across the U.S. and abroad.
And so we have all these examples. If there's somebody out there right now today, you got all these examples of people that made it. We can't, we have to go by the examples and try our best to be our own example, because somebody watching. One day, somebody gonna read the book and see what I did and why I became where I became, right? And so it's so many examples. There's so many different ways that you can go about this life. You're gonna have to decide, like I said, what's more important, what happened to you or what you become.
Yeah.
I hope that you choose what you become, because why give up on becoming something and writing your own story when they try to write ours from the beginning?
Mm.
So that's what I would close with.
I love it. I love that. I What I got from that is that it doesn't matter where you start, it's how you finish. You have to understand that you can take control of your own future, your own journey, your own way, find your way. We as Black people, this is me being honest, we have it hard, so we have to create our own opportunities.
Mhm.
But we have to fight for that, and you have to really want it. You have to really want it and go for it. And yes, there's going to be bumps in the road, but we've got to stand tall, chest out, head up, and go for it. So thank you so very much for being here. I appreciate you. I am so excited to be collaborating with you in Black is Magazine. You guys gotta get the magazine and follow Ambition the Poet, because he's a part of this. And
Gotta
he's
get that magazine. I
what
bought it myself. Guys, I don't join anything. But I bought it myself. You can flip the pages digitally. All the stars that was in it in last edition. I'm glad I joined. I said, "Ooh," and I'm so excited. The people really went through and watched the video of me posting up the flip book that you
Yes.
have as the magazine.
Thank you.
Doing amazing work,
Thank you.
and we got to tell other Black people as well.
We
You
do.
see someone doing good work, ask them how you can help. Ask how you can help build this. We need to collaborate. It doesn't make sense for you to keep telling your sister and your brother, you're doing a good job. You're doing a good job.
Come be a
And
part of it.
you help. Yeah, well then come on.
Yes, let's build this together, because you know what, people on the outside looking in, or even our own, will say that we are the worst culture that bump heads against each other. Well, it's time for us. It's time out for that. It's time to help and start building one another up, helping. Where can I help you? How can you help me? Let's stand on each other's shoulders, because we're standing on somebody else's shoulder to get us where we got today. So anyway, me and Ambition the poet could go on and on about these stories, about how we need to stand together, about how we need to embrace our children who are the future, and how we need to be examples for them to know that even if they come from foster home, they can be on top of the world if that's what they put their mind to it. They got to set their mind, and don't let finances be an issue, because there's so many resources out there. So let's help each other, you guys.
Let's talk that. I feel like you trying to contain yourself.
I am. I'm very stop. I'm gonna stop before I go there. So you guys, and thank you so much. You guys get the magazine. Go follow Ambition the Poet. He's on Instagram. Tell them everywhere they can find you on social media.
Yeah, right now, you're gonna find me on Ambition the Poet on Instagram, Ambition the Poet on Facebook, Ambition the Poet. If you Google Ambition the Poet, if you put it in YouTube, and yes, the new website is out right now, AmbitionthePoet.com. I got my book there, a foster child's interview. Go ahead and pre-order now. You're going to want to be one of the first to get it. I couldn't wait around for the press to interview me no more. I had to make my own book and have a journalist ask me the questions to walk you through what exactly happened to me. And the difference between this book and now, the other books was dealing with childhood. We're getting more and more into the teenage years in foster child's interview. So go to AmbitionthePoet.com for booking, for the book, and for coaching. It's all on AmbitionthePoet.com. And so I'm ready to work.
You guys go check them out. We appreciate y'all being here. Again, leave your comments below, subscribe, like, and share. We're going to get out of here for now. So remember, respect yourself, respect each other. We're out.